you figured that.
I did. Hi.
Hello. It's Tuesday again. It's always Tuesday.
It is.
It really feels
Maybe
like
we should rename the show to It's Always Tuesday.
it's always Tuesday here at Leabu.
Like, it's always sunny and
Always sunny in Philadelphia.
yeah, it's
It's
always
Tuesday at Leabu. There you go. It does feel like it though sometimes.
It does, yeah.
I mean, not that we don't enjoy being here, not like that. It's just like, it really feels like this is sometimes we do this and then we're right back here again.
I know. What's funny is because like our club class being tomorrow, like in my mind, we've already done Wednesday. So I'm like, don't forget that there's a class at 9:30 in the morning.
Because we did it backwards this time.
We did, and we don't usually do
did
that.
Saturday first. Yeah, it's
So
I've been confused as to what day it is for a while now. So
it didn't help that I showed up on Monday.
that really messed me up.
It did. Hayden told somebody to have a great weekend. And he was like, you being here is really messing with me. Did you forget?
I could totally relate with that because I'm just like, what is today?
Yeah. Yeah. So, did you do anything exciting over the weekend?
I really didn't.
No.
No, I cleaned. I did some laundry. Cleaned. Not exciting at all. I played with the dogs.
Sometimes they require that.
Very needy right now.
Because the guys are away.
The boys are all away. Yes. Ollie sits at the basement door and cries. It's so sad. He just looks at you like, fix it. You're just, oh. But yeah, he's funny. Got a lot of personality, that dog does. But he's also got way too much energy. So tried to burn some off and threw the ball. And he's got this hammer toy from Lowe's. So threw a hammer at my dog. It's a weird feeling.
I immediately went to Thor. Not the fact that you could get a hammer from Lowe's.
Different hammer, but I'd like to go see that hammer too. But yeah, so played with the dogs, watched some stuff. You know, nothing exciting.
No.
Cooked, cleaned up my mess.
We Instapotted some roast beef this weekend. That was nice.
I did a pasta dish.
You did, yeah.
It was very good. It was even good warmed up. That's when you know you did good. When it's even good warmed up. It's
right.
like, because you just never know with pasta.
No, you don't. I bought those little teeny, like they're like steamable potatoes that you can put.
Yeah.
And I decided to use those in the Instapot instead.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know why I never did that. I always cut the potatoes, like peeled and cut them. This was like life changing. I got like 30 minutes of my life back.
Jeff really likes those. I'm not a big skin.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of
them?
those personally, but I've used them. I do 3 crock pots of roast whenever I do roast. So there's lots of potatoes because we have to have roast left over for multiple days whenever we.
Yeah, you have a bigger family. It's just me and Dave, so we're still eating it for 3 days.
Yeah, there's definitely not 3 days left if I don't have more than 1 crock pot full. So
yeah.
I'm like, well, I'll put those in that crock pot for you, and then I'll do mine over here, and I always mix up. There's multiple types of potatoes.
Yeah.
So that you get good flavor. So
yeah, these have like the mixture of things in there. It's like
yeah,
a medley.
those are they're good. It's not that I don't like them. I just prefer.
Yeah, it's not mashed potatoes. So but it worked, and I was happy to have the extra time.
Time is always good.
I think you should come and do that behind us.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Oh, I wish
we could get him to do that
like
next Tuesday.
That would be hysterical.
That would be fantastic.
Yes. Maybe we'll have to have a chat with him. Yeah, Hayden was just walking by with numbers. Like
so you know when you go to like a boxing match and the chicks in the bikinis walk around with the like what round it is? He's walking around like that.
He was holding it up and
the
walking.
number over his head.
We were
Darn, he's not in a bikini though, so sorry guys, but no bikini to be had, but
he looks pretty cute in his blue sweater.
He was pretty cute in the blue sweater with the number.
With his numbers,
with
his little polka
strut
dot
going
numbers.
on, and yeah. That was absolutely adorable.
Yeah. Yeah, if I could have turned that camera around quick enough.
You guys
Oh
would have
my
got
goodness.
the treat, but oh,
Yeah.
he's still my beating heart. As I beat my, sorry, I just hit the microphone. That might have been very loud on
She's
your end.
beatboxing.
I'm so sorry. Pardon. I'll
Oh
just
goodness.
Put my hand down
My
here.
hand's down there, yeah.
That was really funny.
Oh, wow.
Too funny. So yeah, I did not have an exciting weekend. Caitlin and I went to the movie. We went and saw The Secrets of Dumbledore, which was fun. We had a good time. Ate lots of junk food, which is what you're supposed to do at the movies.
Yes.
Not good for the waistline, but
No.
that's okay. Gotta have fun every now and then, or what's the point?
What's the point?
I mean, hey. So we did that. We'll probably hit a movie again before the boys come home. So we like the movies.
We like going to the movies too. We're enjoying going back to the movies. It had been a while. That is the only thing that I miss about living where we live now. When we lived in Wayne, we had that cute the Phoenix Theater down there. And it was just a dinky little theater, but they had the really nice reclining seats.
Yeah.
And they were like the love seat ones. So,
yeah.
And of course, the movie theater that we have by us does not have nice seats.
So we go to Celine, which has them.
Nice seats.
They also have the love seat. What are they? They call them the cuddle seats,
yeah.
which is just a love seat. They don't recline. Those love seats don't. They have a footrest, but they don't recline, I guess, or something like that.
Yeah.
So they're less expensive actually to do those.
Yeah.
But we don't sit there. We sit in the recliners.
Yeah, I do miss the recliners.
Yeah, I like the recliner. That's the way to do a movie, man.
I know, right? And
Whoever came up with that was brilliant.
We got so comfortable going to that movie theater. In the summertime, they would really crank the air conditioning down, so we would just take a little blanket.
I have a bag. My Mondo bag is my movie bag.
Yeah.
And so I have a blanket in there. I'm so bad. I take Ziploc bags so that I can put my leftover popcorn in it and it doesn't spill all over my car. I mean, I am like the prepared moviegoer.
Dave and I have to take Ziploc bags because I like to put the the garlic and Parmesan seasoning on my popcorn, and he doesn't.
He doesn't. So you have to split it.
We have to split it.
Yes. Well, Imagine has that refill bucket.
They do.
Oh man, it's killer.
Yeah. I'm sorry. We're just talking about the movies. Now everybody's like, we should go.
You guys want to go to a movie?
We're great company.
We're great company. Take us. Call us. We'll go. Totally ready. Want to go to a movie. So today,
we're going to talk about
Photostitch. This is really, really cool thing. And
we're super prepared. We didn't grab a single sample.
Nope. Maybe Hayden can go hold numbers and walk that way and see if there's any in there.
Yeah, we'll bring some samples over.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Kathy's going to save the day. Are you going to hold numbers for us? Yeah. She's
showing
Rosie
muscles.
the Riveter.
Rosie the Riveter. That's exactly what she looked like. But yeah, so Photostitch basically takes a picture and turns it into a stitched photograph. It is the coolest thing. And people think that it's really hard.
It's not.
And it's not. If you have the software and you have the right software, it is actually very, very easy. There are a couple trips.
Yep, tips.
Trips
Trips to
tricks.
your liquor
I was trying
cabinet.
to say tricks and tips, and it blended into trips. Making up words again, except that one's a real one that confused everybody.
She's not even drinking.
I am not. It's just water. It's no fun. Anyway, there are a few tips that we're going to talk about, but it's very, very simple. So the higher the number version of PE or palette that you have, the higher quality piece that it will spit out. And that being said, even the lower numbers do actually a very, very nice job. They are just improving it every time they come out. So this is, so from this photograph, dun, da, 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 to that. So that is actually stitched. And it is.
I'm trying to get out of the glare.
Thank you. So that is literally a stitched
Hold that,
piece.
Like, over top, maybe. There's just terrible glare. Yeah. Anyways, you can kind of see it.
So literally from a photograph
Mm-hmm.
to a stitched photograph.
Yes.
And when it's farther away, you almost can't even tell that it's been stitched.
Yeah, except for when I put it
Except
further away, you can't
then
see it. But can
the
kind
glare
of
on
see.
the glass
Yeah.
is, unfortunately, we have the lighting in here is not great. But you guys can see how clear that is. I mean, you can tell that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no glass on this one. This is all stitches. This was from a photograph. And then instead of putting it in a picture frame, it's just a fabric frame around this. And this is on the shop floor. And it's been on the shop floor since, gosh, I don't even know how long. Long time. So these are just a couple examples of Photostitch, if you don't mind.
Nope, I do not.
So those are just a few samples that you can see. Oh, we just froze. That's always fun.
Hopefully we're not
Hopefully
still frozen.
we're not still frozen. It's
really
really possible it's on.
her end. Yes. I was just going to say really quickly, Sherry asked a question. The sewing machine that's kind of behind my head back there, is it a panel? Is it still in circulation? Who's it by? That is a Laura Heine pattern. And that is a quilting collage pattern. It isn't a fabric. You probably can get a fabric kit from her website still. And it is, but it's all applique. So it's not a panel. It was a bunch of pieces put together.
It's a whole bunch of pieces of fabric put together and then sewn down to make it look like that.
Yes.
But that pattern is available.
Yes.
It's certainly something we could get for you, or you could go directly to Laura and get the fabric kit and pattern off of her website too, depending upon what you're looking for. But if you want to shoot us an email, I think we might have one here in store at the moment. So let us know if you'd like that. Otherwise, Laura Heine does have the fabric kits available directly through her. It's Heine. And that was a lot of fun to do. And she's got lots of other fun things too.
She sure does. Okay, so we're gonna go back to our previously scheduled
program. If you want to throw me into the stream there. So here we are. I already have the screen open, and I had it adjusted on the other one. Am I too big this time? Let's try that.
Yeah. You might need to squeeze it down a little.
I did. Any
You
better?
gotta come down. You gotta go up a little bit. There you go. And then the same thing with the bottom, just a teeny tiny bit.
We were on the other screen, and I fit it to that screen. There we go.
Sorry.
That's okay. All right, so here we are. If you were with us last week, this looks pretty much just like what we were at last week. We've got the working screen in the center, and this is an 8x8 block that I have here. There's nothing that I'm working on currently, so I can start from scratch.
Yes.
And my flower, again, just as a reminder, is my file button for anyone who is still new with us here. And that would be literally like a file button in any of my other programs. Across from my file or my flower button, I have the words home, image, view, and scan and cut. So we do have scan and cut pieces, and we have a few other things in here. But today we're going to be working on the image tab. So under image, if I'm toggling between these guys here, when I click on image, I get this panel of buttons that pop up, and I have the ability to auto create embroidery. But right next to that, I have the auto create embroidery in Photostitch. So Photostitch 1 is going to be your more traditional, which is the samples that we just showed you. Photostitch 2 is more of a cross stitch
or grid something.
Looking piece. It's not quite as fluid. So honestly, I don't really use that one very much myself. I like Photostitch 1, so that's what we're going to look at today.
Yes.
All right, so when I click on that, I get some different color options. And we get your traditional color. I never say that right. Sepia, whatever.
Sepia, yeah.
Whatever, however you pronounce it. You can pronounce it however you would like, which is kind of your muted out
Yeah.
color, brownish tones. You have your grayscale. I lovingly call that my 50 Shades of Gray tab there. And then you have your monochromatic, which is literally one shade of thread, which is black. So they literally only use one color to do that. Your brain's probably going, yeah, how good could that work, right? We'll show you that before we go off air today. So we're going to start with color. So when I do that, I get a screen that pops up, and that's not the picture that I wanted. Let's take and get a new image. Nope. Let's try that again. There we go. I want to choose a color image. So we're going to play with Elvis today, because why not, right? Everybody knows what Elvis looks like. So I pull in a photo, and I just grabbed these photos from the intranet before we got online today. So we've got a color image. There's not a lot going on in the background. We could do what's called masking, which would be literally clicking all around whomever or whatever it is that's in your photo and getting rid of the background. You have that option at the bottom of the left piece here, which is, you've got all of these different shapes. So if we wanted to just do different sections, we could get rid of little bits of the background, or at the very bottom, all the way down, we could clip and choose which parts we wanted to keep and which parts we wanted to get rid of. We're not going to do all of that today because it takes a little bit of time to make that look really, really good. And we don't think you guys want to be here all afternoon with us. So we're just going to keep this nice and simple and use the whole photo. So this big rectangle or square at the top, rectangle, because that's the size of my photo. We're going to click on that and choose next. When we do that, this is the size of my photo. I can fit that to the page, which is that bottom left-hand corner option. Or in versions 10 or 11, I can actually select a different size hoop than what I have available to me at the moment. So as I said, when we started here, I have an 8x8 hoop at the moment. Or if I have an older version, I would have to exit out, choose my design layout, changing that size of my hoop, quote unquote, and come back in. So only in the most current versions do I have the design settings box right down here showing up here.
And this is important because this is the type of embroidery design that you would not want to resize after it's completed.
So you want to create this the size that you want to stitch this. So if I want this to be an 8-inch design, I want to create it as an 8-inch design. I don't want it to be a 2-inch by 4-inch design and then resize it up to 8 inches. It would not work well at all.
No, and Lisa and I were talking about this earlier, and we were talking about the quality of your image. So Lisa found a really good quality image here. It has a lot of detail in there. If your image is poor when you start, no matter what you do, it's not going to give you great results. But especially thinking about taking something that is 2 inches and then making it 12 inches.
Right. The clarity isn't going to be there for your computer to create stitches at.
Right.
So it has to see clarity for it to create clarity. So if it's not there, it can't create something it can't see. So you do need to make sure that you're bringing in a really good photograph. You know, it's not going to be able to magically create sharp edges when they weren't there to begin with.
Right.
All right. So when I click on fit to page, which again, I'm down in this lower left-hand corner here. I'm moving my mouse cursor around.
I want to point to it, but
I know it doesn't really help. I keep wanting to do the same thing. So I'm going to click on fit to page here. And it will blow up my photograph to fill in whatever hoop size I have on screen.
But it's kind of proportionately.
It will proportionately do that. That is absolutely correct. So you'll notice that it did, it's not an 8x8 photograph. It is that 8 inches wide, basically, So it's fitting in that hoop, but it's still a rectangle. It's not a square.
Just checking out that corner.
Yeah, it's okay. So if you don't like what you see here, we can cancel, we can exit out of here, you can choose a different photograph, so on and so forth. But again, we're just going to keep going forward. So I'm going to click on next, and that will then move me forward to the next screen. So I've already modified my image, and now I'm on where I can choose all of my colors. And if I wanted to, I could remove an individual color. I could remove multiple colors. All of these different things I can now play with on this screen. So this is my chance to tell the computer what I want it to do. So this is really the kind of the best image that you're going to see for what this would look stitched out. So what you're seeing here really is what you're going to end up with later on.
Right, it's a really good
Representation. Absolutely, very good word. So the first thing that I always do when I get to this page, and this is, again, the parameters page. So up at the top, you'll see it says Photostitch 1 parameters. The first thing that I always do before I change any colors, any of the brightness, any of that, the first thing, and if you are taking notes, write this down. I change my run pitch, which is right down here above the others. It's going to default to 0.12. I lower that down to 0.08.
And just to point out, if your machine, or if your software is still set up in millimeters, that might be different. Lisa has hers set up in inches. So,
that is a true statement.
That can vary just a little bit if yours does not say inch next to that.
The default won't. The number would be different.
Different, yes.
But the default, the numbers, you're still going to want to lower it regardless.
Yes.
Because it will never come in at the number that I'm recommending.
Yes, you just want to make sure.
You're going to want to lower it about 4 notches.
Yes, yes. Pay attention to inches versus millimeters. Don't
Yes.
go to
Don't go too crazy.
0.08 millimeters. That would be really, really small
That would
stitches.
be really tiny. So, and then right above the word previous, you'll see the button that says update preview. So with just changing that run pitch, I'm going to now click on update preview.
I did.
And it's going to change the picture. And already, just by doing that, Elvis's face is so much cleaner.
Yes.
It has drastically changed what we're seeing. Hi, Dad.
Yeah, there's so much more detail. Though I have to say, the more I look at this picture, the more that he looks like the new Magnum PI guy.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong.
Oh.
In Hawaii.
Right?
You know,
I know. I'm like, wait, that's kind of interesting. We totally got off track again.
we really,
So,
we tend to do that.
Can you go back so they can, everybody watch the detail in his face when she hits the preview here. So
All right,
you can really see the eyes and the nose here.
So look literally right at the facial detail, all right? So I'm going back to where the default was at. I'm gonna click on this. Don't look at where I'm clicking. Look at Elvis's face and see what happens here.
So you like lose
It kind of washes
the
out.
eye and like some of the detail.
All right.
So now we're gonna go back.
Here we go.
And then you've got an eye again. And like a second lip.
So it just really makes a difference. And what we're doing is we are creating more stitches, which allows for more detail. And that is really all that's doing is we are tightening the stitch length. That's what your run pitch is, which is allowing for more stitches, which is allowing for more detail in.
Right, so it like smooths a curve. So if you were trying to do a circle and you had big stitches, you wouldn't be able to get fluid circle. You would have
it would have
some like
little bit of rough
edges. Yeah,
it would be a boxy circle instead of a smoothed edge circle.
And by decreasing the run pitch, she's smoothing out
Those rough edges,
which gives you more detail.
Exactly. So the second thing that you would want to look at then would be your brightness and contrast. I personally like the contrast in this one. We played with this a little bit earlier today, and I didn't like it when we changed it, but we'll do it on camera so you guys can see what that would do. So right now you're going to start in the center. And when you go a little bit brighter, it's going to just kind of drag that up a little bit. When you click update, it's going to really change what you see. I liked the amount of contrast and whatnot that we had in there. It gave him a little bit more pop against the background.
Yeah.
I don't like what this looks like personally, so I would change that. So maybe I would like what it would look like if I gave it a little bit more darkness in the background. So maybe that would be good. Well, I didn't like that either, but hey, it's always good to try, right?
Right.
So I'm not
really
doing
see that green.
I'm right. I'm not doing any harm by looking and seeing what is happening. So I can get right back to my original by putting everything right back in the center. So I would recommend that you play with that photo a little bit because you aren't going to know what it would look like unless you move it.
And one of the things that can change is your threads. So would you recommend picking the brand of thread that you plan on using before you adjust your
Really
contrast?
start playing, unless you don't
Intend to just go
intend
get whatever
to just
thread?
get whatever you, it's like, okay, I need a gray.
Yeah.
And I need a red. If you want this to literally spit out the number for you to go get, then yes, absolutely. So let's talk about that real quick. Up here at the top, it says Brother Embroidery. Well, guys, I'm using a Brother software.
Shocker.
Shocker that it's spitting out Brother colors, right? But I do have the ability to tell it to give me a different color spectrum. So if you only have Isacord in your drawer, you can put that down all the way to that Isacord and have it tell you Isacord colors. Maybe you have been with Leabu since day one, and so you have
Since
Floriani.
the beginning of time.
Since the beginning of time, and so your drawers are full of Floriani. And if that is the case, if I switch to Floriani and I don't change anything else, but I change that, it's going to change my picture because I have different color wheel choices in Floriani than I do from Brother.
Yep.
So without changing anything, I still have 10 thread colors here, and it's still kind of the same spectrum, but it's completely changed what that looked like because of the variance.
You can really see the flowers in this one.
It really just makes a difference in which brand. So maybe you just want to see some differences. You can switch from one brand to another and say, I just like the way that looks.
Yeah.
So you can play a little bit that way as well. So
I think I was just going to say, this is one of those times where, people always ask us, can I have that color? I want to do this design in this color. And sometimes we're like, well, it doesn't
convert.
work. So we started with the same picture and we let our software convert the colors by the brands of thread. And you can see how drastically that changes. And again, like she said, it really has to do with how many shades of colors are in the particular brand that you're using.
Yep. Everybody doesn't have 50 Shades of Gray.
No, they should.
I mean, hey.
But that's definitely an OESD thing.
Well,
with our Santa.
That tells you a lot of things about OESD now, doesn't it? So the real point is here, guys, what you have in your repertoire of thread choices really is going to make a difference in how these things are going to come out. Right. So whether you have every one of these Floriani colors or not, you could swap something out, but it will definitely alter a little bit how it's going to end up looking in the big picture. All right, so I'm just going to go back just so that we are maintaining something similar the whole way through. I'm going to go back to the Brother so that we're back where we started. So my run pitch is at 0.08. I'm in Brother thread. I have 10 colors. The next thing, after we have looked at brightness, we've looked at our thread brand, we've got our run pitch down to 0.08. Is there any way I can take out a color stop so I am changing thread less than I would be and still get that same quality of a picture? Sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes the answer is no. It really depends on the image. Now, this image here, the shirt, it's got a lot of color in it, so the likelihood of being able to drop down is not really big. The only way to find out, though, is to do it just like everything else. Just tell it to change. So we're going to come up here at the top. I'm going to circle my mouse around there. You can see where it says that number 10. I'm going to lower that down to 9. And then I'm going to go to update the preview.
So watch the photo.
So now look at the photo, not at my mouse. Look at the photo, and when I hit down, it really changes that background because it got rid of one of the background colors is what it did. So do I like that? I don't. I'd rather change the thread one more time and have that extra color in there.
Right.
If you have a 10 needle, guess what? I wouldn't have even bothered. I'd have just let it go.
Right.
All right. But if I'm sitting at a single needle and I'm changing those thread colors, time is money. Time is worth whatever. And if I can get the same result without having to change the thread a couple more times, then it's worth lowering that down. And sometimes you literally can't see it. Sometimes it will have 15 thread colors and you can get down to 11 or 10 and not see a difference.
Well, and if we had taken the time to mask out the background, there would have been...
It wouldn't have had as many to begin with.
Right. Some of those threads are working with that background.
Absolutely. You bet. So it depends on what kind of photo you have, whether you're going to be able to pull things out or not. Once you have, I'm going to go back up to 10 here and I'm updating. So I'm back to my original. So I am happy with what I have here. All right. So again, the only thing that I changed was the run pitch. So how many stitches I'm getting in that photograph.
Yep.
Okay. The computer did everything else. I didn't do anything. So I'm going to click finish. Now, I'd like you to all take another look at what you see on screen. This is the best representation of what it's going to look like that you would see anywhere.
Until it's stitched.
Until it's stitched out. So I'm going to click finished. It's going to think, and it's going to put that right over top of that picture in a minute. It's got to think. Didn't think about this. I am on...
There we go.
So this is a realistic image. This is the stitched image. So you can see that doesn't look as clean.
Can you make your screen a little bit bigger so they can really see those?
I can.
Gunk. Yeah.
Woo, not that big.
Not that big. But there you go. Now you can kind of really see when these stitch out, it kind of reminds me of Scribble. They're super weird stitches.
It is absolutely really, really weird. But it won't look like this on your fabric.
No. I mean, if you look really close at the stitches on here, when you guys are in the store sometimes, it does
kind of look like scribbled.
Yeah, they don't lay like normal stitches.
Nope.
And that's because if it laid like a normal, like if it was just a normal straight stitch, it wouldn't have enough depth. Like
No.
you wouldn't be able to see that.
It kind of overlaps a lot of the threads, and that's how you get the mixed colors. It's the best way that it can blend the threads to create the different colors. And that is really how you get those multitude of shadings, is because it's literally kind of doing zigzaggy type things over top of another color, so that they blend together to create that flesh tone with the, that's rosy cheeks and the...
We mix our paint can.
Exactly. So it's really an interesting thing. This is trying. So this is the realistic, but that's not realistic. Right. It really doesn't look like that. So people look at that and they go, well, I don't want to stitch that. That's not going to look like what I want it to do. That's really not what it's going to look like. It's going to look like that last photograph before we hit finish
you gotta
on your screen. You really have to trust the program. So down here along the left-hand side, we talked about these the last week when we were talking about separating things out. If you have a full program, whoo, that was really far. if you have the full program, I could edit and maybe change the color of his shirt or add in some pink in the flowers or whatever if I really wanted to, because I now have the ability to edit this photograph. If you have the entry level version of this, which is called PE Plus, you would have no power to edit. You literally, what you see is what you get. So I would have the ability to edit this at that time. All right. So that is color. So I'm real quick going to swap and change. Let's go back to Stitch View. And now let's show you what a grayscale piece would look like. And I don't want that one. It always does this.
Wants you to get a new one.
It does. Why won't it let me do that? Desktop, black and white. There we go. So here we are. Elvis again.
Elvis is back.
Elvis is back. And I'm not going to mask anything. I'm just going to keep going. So we're going to go to the next page. Again, I could change my frame setting if I wanted to, or I can hit fit to page and change the photo size. Again, pay attention to what size your photograph is before you just blow it up into a 10.5 by 16 inch design. Also pay attention to how many stitches this is going to be when you go to, because holy crow, is there a lot of stitches in a photo stitch design.
Yep.
And if you make a 10.5 by 16 inch photo stitch, it's going to take forever to stitch. So keep that in mind. This is right now about 5 by 7.5 full size. So here we are in a black, in a, what are we in? Grayscale, black and white, basically. I'm still in Brother Threads. I have 10 colors. I'm going to lower my run pitch. Like I said, first thing I do every time I come in here and I hit update. So again, let's look at that photograph and watch.
Watch that nose.
Boom. Holy cow, that looks like the picture now, right?
It does.
It is night and day difference. But this is how simple it is to do a photo stitch. And then all I have to do is go get these colors and do what the machine tells me to do.
Yeah.
It is literally this simple. Now, interestingly enough, there's a really light spot on his nose, which we found out the hard way. So
Light is really reflecting there.
There's a lot of light reflecting. Whoever took this photograph, there's a lot of light reflecting off of his face. So when I went to see is, hey, could I take out any colors? I turned it down to 9 and hit update the preview, and it really washed out. And I'm not sure you guys can see that quite so much there, but it really washed out his nose.
Yeah, look at the like the big part of his, not the big part of his nose, like
the
part
flat
right
part
here.
right here. There's like no color there anymore.
Yeah. So now go back to the 10 colors. So watch that spot on his face.
Ready?
And then you just get there's like detail
and depth, and it's just crazy how much difference that looks. So again, we would be completely ready to stitch this. All we have to do is hit finish. It's going to take a moment for it to calculate the stitches. What you're seeing, all of those lines, those are kind of like jumps, for lack of a better description, okay? And
totally normal.
Totally normal. There's nothing the matter with what you're seeing there.
And how many stitches is in this
This
design?
has 70,110. And again, this is basically 5 by 7. So if we were doing 10 by 16, that would have well over 150,000 stitches in it.
Yeah, put that in perspective. Some people, when they're like, when they buy a new sewing machine and we're like, oh, there's like 500,000 stitches in there. There's like 5 Elvises in there.
Yeah. Elvis lives. All right. So the last thing that we really wanted to walk you through in here is that monochromatic. So the sepia, however you pronounce that, it's going to be the same basic thing. Take your photo, it's going to alter it, it's going to give you the stitches, check your run pitch, adjust, so on and so forth. But this next piece is very different. Monochromatic literally means mano. Mano e mano. One. Okay? One thread color. So just looking at this.
Not to be confused with the disease.
Yes. We're not kissing over here, guys. All right. We're talking about one thread color, and it will be black. You could, of course, choose something else, but it won't really work super well. You're going to want to choose a dark color, definitely. A super dark gray or something would probably work.
No shades of pink?
No shades of pink. Well, no. Nope. All right. But let's just look at this photograph. How many shades of gray are you seeing? I mean, literally. I mean,
50.
you look at that and there's a lot of color in there, okay?
Yes.
There's a lot of different
But
colors
not a lot
there.
in his nose.
There is not a lot in his nose. I'll give you that. But you'll see what we mean here in a minute. But there is a lot of color here,
Yes.
okay? So when we go into this next, it's going to look a little bit different. We've already told it to fit, so it's doing its own thing here because we already did all this once.
Yep.
So I am fit to page, so we're already at that 7 by 5-ish size. And in the next page, it looks just a little bit different than what we had. Now, do you guys see that white spot on his nose we were talking about? There's not much color in his nose, right?
No, we don't know. There's obviously a lot of light reflecting in there.
Reflecting off there. So we could change the color. So let's just say you want pink, right?
Yeah,
Let's find
let's do
hot pink.
Yeah.
Dark fuchsia. Okay, dark fuchsia.
He's still missing that nose.
Still missing the nose. Let's try green. Nope, still nothing. So yes, you could change a color, but it looks a little off.
Yeah.
I mean, it almost looks like you forgot to change the filter on your camera. Purple's not bad. Blue suede shoes. Let's try blue.
That's not bad either.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
But again, you want a dark color. I would not recommend a light color. So if you go too light, it's just going to be a washed out nothing. So here's a light yellow. You can see that does absolutely nothing. Yeah. You definitely need...
The screen may appear blurry.
All right, so...
That's not too bad, though.
You can see it,
yeah.
But I definitely would recommend sticking with something that is a pretty dark shade of whatever you've got going.
You certainly get more contrast.
Yes, absolutely. You want to be able to see whatever is going on here. Mm-hmm. The run pitch, I've got it 0.08. We can try and get more contrast.
Will anything change if we go into more detail? So the sewing option where it says coarse.
Now that's an interesting one.
Oh, yeah.
See, so we can play. Maybe you like that better.
Mm-hmm.
You can do.
It looks like he got a haircut and left his hair laying down.
It's Gene. We got a nose back.
Mm-hmm.
Nose goes. So you can see what these changes really make out. It's just a matter of...
That's kind of cool.
That is, absolutely.
You could just edit out those few random... Oh, there you go.
There we go. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. Kind of looks like Edward.
Edward from...
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
It's the Batman. Or Twinkle.
He's got a sparkle. You could put some rhinestones in there.
Yeah.
Give him some rhinestone eyebrows or something.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyway, you can make some adjustments and really add in, whatnots. So playing with all of that can certainly give you quite a bit of change, right?
Yep.
So when you are happy with, I'm just going to leave it where we're at. When you click finish, there's the original photo. It's going to pop it right on top of the original. Again, you will see on that left-hand side of the screen, there is one color. Whatever you put in your machine doesn't really matter, right? All right. There is a total of 27,000 stitches in this.
Wow, it's like a third of the...
Right? Way, way less. And no color changes. So
unless you run out of thread.
Unless you run out of thread. But I mean,
yeah,
it's not It's not that bad.
No.
So I have done a monochromatic. It's pretty cool. It's amazing how one spool of thread can do something and have it look like that. It's a really, really neat piece. So that is Photostitch. You want to switch that?
I do.
And just swatches over there.
Yeah.
So the only other thing is everybody always asks, well, what do I stitch it on? And so that it'll absorb all of those stitches. I would definitely use a cutaway, like the heavy white. You don't need no-show mesh. There's no reason to do this. I would not put this on a shirt. You're not stitching this for somebody to wear. This is something that's going to be a wall hanging, or it could be a book cover type something. You could make a notebook or something like that. But this is not a wearable. This is going to be a lot of stitches.
It would not be comfortable.
It would not be comfortable at all. I suppose you could maybe put it on a jacket back or something
maybe
like
a
that.
Carhartt.
Yeah,
that would be
a heavy
lot of...
jean or something. But even on a jean jacket, it would be very, very heavy. So you're going to be using cutaway felt would be a great option. And then you could always do, like with the koala, you could frame it with fabric or put it in a photo frame. And decide the edges where you want it to be based on all of that. So, but something that's going to absorb all of those stitches. You want to be prepared. Heavy tearaway added as a float. You don't want puckering. You don't want to do all of that and then have it not turn out. That is no fun.
Now we want to see everybody's photo stitches.
Absolutely. So when you do them,
homework.
if you choose to accept it, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, if you want to do one and shoot us a photo, that would be great. We would love
It'd be fun to do show and tell.
Email us what you guys have done. That would be great. We would love to see it. So Photostitch it's not hard. It's not scary. It is time consuming to stitch, most definitely. And there's somewhere in the store, there's a tiger stitch out. Tigers don't actually have orange thread in them. It's so crazy. You would think they do, but they don't. Not orange. not even a little bit. But yeah, so hopefully you learned that software can be super fun and does not have to be hard. So hopefully you will enjoy it and
yes. Yeah, do. But
have some fun.
Open your software, because if you don't open your software at least once a week, you will, I guarantee that your brain is going to decide that this information is not needed and it will override it. Because you do not get to pick.
You don't get to pick what deletes and what stays.
Nope.
I have some really dumb things in my brain that I do not need, and I forget things that I need.
I know.
It's not fair.
I really wish that I could partition. Like, okay, all of this stuff is useless information, so use that up. But we don't get to pick that. It's kind of sucky.
No. It's funny because I laugh when I look at like my computer's file explorer and I'm like, wow, my brain probably looks like that.
Right? Yeah.
All that junk, just throw it in there.
Yeah.
No wonder I can't find anything.
I like that saying where, my brain is like so when you have like 20 tabs open and there's music playing and you don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like some days.
Yeah. That would be me.
That's kind of like what it's like to be around here.
A little bit.
We have 47 tabs open. Can't find what we're looking for, and there's music playing someplace.
Someplace, and we can't shut it off.
I don't know where it's coming from.
Don't know where it is.
Oh,
nope.
That is
that. Totally us. Absolutely. So.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. And like she said, not super. Look, I got the dot on myself today. I'll put it right on my nose. But yeah, not too difficult. And
who knew Elvis had no nose?
Super easy. I know, that was so weird. Just completely disappeared like
that.
that.
Just completely disappear.
Yeah, we are so easily entertained some days.
I just messed up my glasses.
We're wearing the same
I know,
color,
same topper.
Right? You want to switch?
That doesn't work, but
no.
Okay. Ready? Yeah, here you go. That didn't work.
How is the software thing going?
Good. We're already done.
You have to change your glasses in order to do that. Photostitch.
Photostitch.
Oh my goodness.
Hope you enjoyed today's class, guys.
Yes. Next week we have our stabilizer
We do.
event, so we'll be
don't
on.
forget to register. If you have not already registered, it's free, but you need to register to get the email with the coupon code.
Yes.
So if you don't register, we won't have your email on the list to email the code to. So make sure you register if you have not yet. Again, it's free
It's
to register. So make
free.
sure you do that so that we know who to send the coupon code to get your stabilizers at such a fantastic sale.
That's right, because it will not go out to everyone. It will only go out to registered users. Our stabilizer bundles are up. They are for sale. They are already
They are
starting.
already put together, so we will ship them, or you can pick them up if you order it now, so
Yeah.
they're ready to go.
We have a limited supply of them, so if you are on the fence, get it before it's gone. And it's not just about that stabilizer bundle, it's about all of the coupons you're going to get forever.
Forever and ever and ever and ever
Yeah.
and ever.
And look for some
ever.
emails this week. We'll probably send
ever.
out at least 2 more emails this week. We have a special sale coming up this weekend.
We do.
So we will be closed here. We're all going to enjoy a 3-day weekend. We're super excited. But you guys get to shop while we're at
You
home.
can shop while we're not here.
Doing whatever you want. Terry asked, where do you register? So if you go to our website, you will be able to find that.
It's called SnL Stabilizer Boot Camp.
Yep.
You
or-
search for boot camp, it'll pop right up.
That's right. Or the last email that we sent, it's also on Facebook and many different places.
If you get our emails, their link is in there. You can find it lots of different places.
Yep.
So,
But it is, it's right on there. Like we said, it's totally free to register.
Yep.
That'll get your email into our hands so we can send you out that special coupon that will come out probably Tuesday
morning. Yep.
Yep.
And next Tuesday, we are starting at 2. That's 2 o'clock.
Two,
you like to count.
I know.
2 o'clock. 2 o'clock next Tuesday.
Yes.
That is Eastern time next Tuesday. And we will talk stabilizers, what to do, what not to do, what kind to use when, how to fix mistakes, everything that we can fix that problem.
Yeah, Connie, that's not a problem.
Totally fix that problem
You
for
just
you.
call
Just
us.
let us know when you want to fix it. But yeah, so
That's it.
That's what we have for you guys today. So thank you for joining us. We hope to see you all next week at 2 o'clock.
Yes.
And we're still hoping to be done by 4:30.
By
So
2:30.
Not by 2:30, by 4:30, which is why we're starting at 2 o'clock. So
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, we have a lot of things that we want to talk about, but if you guys have a specific question or
shoot it to
something
us,
like that,
'cause if there is something you can ask during the class, or if you let us know ahead of time, we
we'll
can
make
work it
sure
into the spiel.
the spiel. That's right. We
Yeah.
answer it. So that's it, though.
Yes.
Yeah, a little early today. We were a little late last week, so
We make it up
that's right.
as we
Yep.
go along.
So I think that's it. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your week.
Yes.
If we
Happy
don't
Memorial
see
Day
you,
weekend.
enjoy your Memorial weekend, and we will be back Tuesday.
Tuesday, unless we see you at club on Wednesday,
Which is tomorrow.
Which is tomorrow.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, goodness.
Have a good one.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.